94.9.
Can he play?
The best players in the world and their best plays. It's sports on 32 FM 94.9.
So when you just kind of prepare and get set and put all things together to have your show go on, there's a way things work in the world of sports. The news will just come, and then the other things you've been working on, maybe for minutes, for hours, will just go under the carpet. And then the one that's big will be the biggest of them all, and so you have to start with it. So initially, the plan to talk about what happened over the weekend, take a view of what happened from England to France to Spain, and of course back home in the NPFL on the continent, also at world level, because under 17 also was happening for our girls against the US. When I say continent, it's all about the WAFU, where the Flying Eagles got their win in the final. They play against Ghana, qualified for under 20 AFCON in South Africa. All of these we put together and said, how about the NPFL, where we saw so many things who went away from home and they got results. Okay, away from that also, there was NBA, there was Formula One, and then you put all of this together and say, okay, let's go have a good show and let's have a fantastic 30 minutes. But lo and behold, you get the news from Old Trafford that 𝐒𝐿, I say now the former Manchester United head coach, has been told to go. He has been sacked. And so that comes into the picture to say that has got to be the biggest news of all. So I also learned later tonight, I know that tonight will be in Paris, the Ballon d'Or winner will be announced, and there's so many talk about Vinicius Junior not going. The Real Madrid staff say they're not going because it doesn't look like the Brazilian will win. Before now, you've got that news that Vinicius is going to win the Ballon d'Or after what he did against Borussia Dortmund, despite performance in the El Clasico. They say that doesn't matter because it looks like the boy is going to win the Ballon d'Or. But hey, the last few minutes, it doesn't look like he's going to win it. Maybe Rodri stands a chance to win. Just some news of him now landing in Paris for the award tonight. Hey, there's Sammy here with me. It's not in Paris. There's Blessing somewhere, not in France. I know it's somewhere in Nigeria where she is precisely. I don't know, but maybe she will tell us. Because for us, we'll discuss the Manchester United issues. I know you know, but we also need to share our thoughts. It's good to have you guys join me. Sammy, pleasure having you joining me on the show for the next 25 minutes. Blessing, also good to have you. I am Peter Omo. We wanted to talk about how the weekend went down, but this United thing has got the biggest of them all. Blessing, how are you doing?
I'm very fine, Peter. Great to be show with you guys once again. I mean, how are you sure I'm not already in Paris somewhere?
Okay. Okay. That's another twist. But the last time we chatted, you never told me you are airbound.
I know, right? I could be chatting from anywhere across the world, But yeah, it's great to be on the show.
So how is Paris this afternoon?
Just like you said, I mean, it's
hold
the
on,
news
hold
that
on,
we have
hold on. For you. I said, how is Paris this afternoon?
Okay, Paris from. Anyway, it's great to be on the show. Honestly, the news from this afternoon really, I think it kind of threw a lot of us off. Kind of changed the perspective for many of us for some of the things that we had planned. I knew it was coming at some point, but I didn't think it would be now. I thought it was going to be given more chance, but I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about that, and a lot more. But yes, I'm also looking forward to, what's going to happen later tonight in terms of, the Ballon d'Or award and who gets to win that. I mean, I feel like it's all setting up for what should be a great show for us here.
So, Sammy, you have a different tune entirely, or the same with Blessing?
Outside of football, I would first of all greet everyone under the sound of our voice. But then, my own worrying issue for this day happens to be from the world of Formula One, where the struggles for the Max Verstappen and the Red Bull has continued. 10 races now, no victory for Max Verstappen. We have 4 races till the end of the season. Who is going to win the constructor standings? Maybe Max Verstappen himself with his early domination. That's in the year 2024. He has 7 wins. If that is still enough for him to win the drivers, that's a title. All good for him. But how would we fare? But talking about all the news that broke out just in the early hours of today about Erik ten Hag, the man who definitely knows how to speak so much. Results goes his way, result doesn't go his way. He knows how to speak. But then I think a lot of Manchester United fans felt that was a good end to the Red Ants with Erik ten Hag being the manager of Manchester United. And then for me personally, I wanted to talk about the El Clasico. But
no, we've got time. We're going to see how we can dwell on some of those headlines, but we know that for most part of the show it's going to be Ten Hag, Manchester United. Where do they go from here? Blessing, you said you saw this coming, but you never know when. But it's not a matter of a function of if. It's just a matter of when. If I'm right in that order. So
yes, definitely.
Yeah. So I also have the feeling, but my feeling was when the FA Cup was done, when he won the FA Cup, and he came out. I remember we were here where he was telling United board that I'm a winner. Can't you see what I've done? Because at that point in time, there were news about him going to leave. United going to sack him because they've got some owners who are coming in to take over the footballing part of Manchester United. But that didn't happen. So they told him, man, you have to move on. And moving on means we check the backroom staff. And who comes in to join him? Ruud van Nistelrooy. The good man himself, former coach of PSV Eindhoven, and of course played his football for Manchester United before he left for Real that year. So, Blessing, where do they go from here? I know if we have to go into the numbers, we'll probably be spending the whole day doing that. About the numbers, how many games he won, where they are at the moment, how the struggle began, how much you have spent so far as the head coach of the Red Devil. I don't like to call that name, but here we are calling them Red Devil. So, Blessing, take it from there.
Honestly, as neutrals, as people who are fans who are not, for Manchester United, for many fans, it's not exactly welcome news because, of course, when you get to play against your rival, you want to beat them, and you don't really wish your rival well, to put it that way. But for Erik ten Hag, I thought he had the potential. I thought he had the opportunity to build something good with Manchester United, but in a way, I also feel like he might have been a victim of the issues that United had behind the scene in terms of the board, the takeover bid as well, fans, the infrastructure decay, if I should put it that way. Because like it or not, sacking the manager is just like the first layer. You really have to address the issues that are deep down hitting. What about the players? I mean, how are you paying the player about £300,000 a week, and he's unable to, give you performance that are commensurate to that amount of money week in, week out? I mean, it begs for questioning. And this is not a case to say, oh, this player just stopped performing when this manager came on board. I mean, even before the manager came on board, there had been some, questions around. I mean, case in point here, Rashford particularly. But for Erik ten Hag, I also understood why, at the end of last season when he won the trophy, where he was telling everyone what I won a trophy, because like it or not, that was him buying himself time at that point. And I thought maybe this could be it, for him to really come into this season and build afresh, like get quality recruitment. Again, the recruitment for me is questionable. I wonder the caliber of players that they got to attract, and that I believe is not solely down to the manager. It has to be a combination of decision across different members of the board and what have you. So yes, it's not just about Erik ten Hag, but yes, where did they go from here? I wish this came before the start of the season, or at the very least coming at the end of the season. Reason is because when you bring in a new manager midway into the season, you are practically giving them an impossible task. Impossible task because this is Manchester United, one of the biggest team in England. It might be difficult to see whoever comes on board to hit the ground running. Yeah, I understand there's the manager bounce that we talk about from time to time, but then for how many games are you going to have the manager bounce for? And if you're bringing in a new manager to come in, you want them to start building midway or almost midway through the season, That for me is really very, very hard for you to see anyone come in. But I can't wait to see what their actual plan is. But bringing with Van Nistelrooy to take charge on interim basis, it feels like the class of '92 all over again. Wielding their influence. I mean, I'm just saying it's I'm not. I don't know how to put this. I'm not saying that's what is happening, but it feels a lot like this ex-players and the influence. I saw a tweet by Rio Ferdinand where he acted shocked that Ten Hag was going to be sacked, and I remember quoting the tweet and I was asking like you were shocked, like you didn't know this was coming, and then I saw another tweet by him saying man like Ruud van Nistelrooy. So apparently there must have been some sort of pushing behind the scene, but United need to go for a long-term plan.
All right.
Van Nistelrooy is a short-term plan, but I don't know what he's going to do for them, honestly.
Definitely, they'll be looking for one because from the statement from United, SAMIES is that it's going to take charge for the interim time being until they announce a substantive coach for the side. That's talking about the permanent head coach. But where do you think they got it all wrong, SAMIES?
For Manchester United, I think their problem has been long coming, just like a Blessing said. Jose Mourinho, if we go back to that time where they achieved their last success, so that's in the European scene, winning the UEFA Europa League, defeating Ajax in the final. I think their worries also went past that season, and Jose Mourinho, he spoke about it, was not given the time. Other managers, they've come and gone. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, well, he was in that position also in his first season. I think he did so well with Manchester United. The following season, their struggles continued. And then you talk about this Austrian manager, Ralf Rangnick. He came on board also. The struggles still continued for Manchester United. Michael Carrick came on board at a point. The struggles still continued for Manchester United. And then we had that's Erik ten Hag, the man who came on board. Yes, this man would tell you that he won trophies like in every season. But then I just don't want to call our attention to this. If not for the level of officiating yesterday and maybe the ill luck in which was the luck that was against Erik ten Hag and Manchester United yesterday, maybe this news won't be now. Maybe it will be, let's say, start of the year 2025, when we know that they want to get things start afresh again for Manchester United. And of course, this season he has played 14 games, won 4, drawn 6, lost 4, scored 21, conceded 17, and had 5 clean sheets. Yes, how did Manchester United get it all wrong? Maybe now, I would say Erik ten Hag also is the architect of his own failure as well at Manchester United, because I wouldn't assume or think of a manager who actually is affiliated to his ex-players. They say going back to your ex won't actually get you maybe a better future. But for Erik ten Hag at this point in time, this is what it has cost him. And you can't look at this crop of players he has now at Manchester United and tell me that maybe 60% of them are not part of his past. Now they are still part of his past. They are no longer in his present, because his present status says he has no job. And so it is away from what Blessing said. It is part of the let me say, Manchester United as a whole institution, as a whole organization, a body. They have their own problems. But then the managers will come in. I remember Ronaldo came on board in the year 2022. He spoke about all of these things. But what was the treatment he got from the manager and even the Manchester United owners, then the Glazers family and all of that? They didn't support Ronaldo. Yes, they have to support the manager who is currently in that capacity, and he was let go of he was relieved of his position from the club, told to let go. Well, as I would say, it's just so unfortunate for Erik ten Hag that his time with Manchester United couldn't yield much success. We can't call him a failure with Manchester United. He was successful.
Peter, I'm sorry, I just wanted to cut in to say this. I wonder where Manchester United fans would rate Ten Hag in terms of amongst their managers since Sir Alex Ferguson retired from the post. Because I remember when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came on board, when he started, I think it started well. The early days were quite good. And then when things started going awry, I recall the shouts to have him out and all of that. And at the end of the day, if you look back in terms of the win-loss record, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, alongside Erik ten Hag, alongside maybe David Moyes, who else was in charge in that period? You wonder. Many of them now are forced to rate Ole Gunnar Solskjaer ahead of a certain Erik ten Hag, who got Ajax to the Champions League final, if I am not mistaken. I can't remember which year particularly. I think did they get to the finals or semi-finals? I remember they played against Tottenham. Anyway, but
semi-finals against Tottenham.
Semi-finals, exactly. So you begin to wonder, where do they rate him amongst the managers that have taken the reins ever since Alex Ferguson retired. But I also do agree with SAMIES to a great percentage. He's also an architect of his failure, because in terms of sometimes the kind of changes that he makes in game, sometimes the kind of formation that he makes in game, and even the things he comes out in the media to say. I understand you trying to keep your head and sound very cool in the media, but when you say things like we are a difficult team to beat, but you have only had one victory in, say, 10 matches or thereabout. I mean, I'm wondering if you're actually delusional.
Okay, so
but just this quick stat for Erik ten Hag, in case Manchester United or football fans don't know this. In the Premier League, Erik ten Hag has played in 5 matches. He won 44. He drew 14. He lost 27. Now, this is where it is worrying for Manchester United under Erik ten Hag. Goals for Manchester United scored 123 goals, and they conceded 112 goals. Erik ten Hag 2 seasons ago came out. He said he wants to get a ball-playing goalkeeper. Andre Onana came on board. Then David De Gea was let go at that point. Mostly just like I've said, he is the architect of his own failure. Maybe is that philosophy of bringing in players, what he sees. Those players are now also buying into that ideology with Manchester United. Or the main thing now is maybe Manchester United Football Club is too big of an institution for all of these players that are coming on board under Erik ten Hag. Maybe not him personally.
Is it also, on the other hand, that is not translating, or is it passing the message to the players, what he wants them to do? At times, when I watch him standing close to the touchline, it doesn't look like he's communicating with the boys. It doesn't look like he's getting. There's no feeling. You take a game like the West Ham game yesterday, a game that you thought ordinarily at the end of first 45, United should be up like 4 or 5 goals in that game, but they were poor in terms of their marksmanship. They were poor in the final third, and the Hammers came. Yeah.
Do you expect Erik ten Hag to be telling a Marcus Rashford or an Anthony how to pass the ball, or how to make true passes, or how to make runs, or how to position themselves?
They've gone through training
Absolutely
sessions.
not.
He has been with them 24 hours. He knows what their strengths are.
Hold on. There was this season that Rashford was, if not one of the best in England. Remember, maybe 2-3 years ago.
Post-World Cup.
Yeah, 2-3 years ago.
That was his best, and he can never achieve that. I'm sorry to say. He can never beat that anymore.
All right.
He can never beat that.
So your next question, because like I said the other time, we have to look at the numbers that I have right in front of me here, and we have to analyze and break them down. We'll probably spend the whole minute on the show talking about United. But of course, it's the biggest news as we speak in the world of sport. So for you, Blessed, do you think that Ruud van Nistelrooy, Ruud boy, to take charge for the rest of the season, and then they can work out a manager going forward next season? Because like we've been saying, it will be tough. How do you go get another manager now as we speak? Now, if you can think of one now who don't have a job, let's say, that you think will fit the bill at United, let me know. If not, maybe Nistelrooy continue this job, and then come next season, if you have one, then you get him.
I'm surprised you guys already have a nickname for Ruud van Nistelrooy already. This man is just taking charge in interim basis. However, I recall having a conversation with a Manchester United fan yesterday, and I was saying Xavi Hernandez is free, is available, is ready.
Xavi, do you think Xavi fits the bill?
Listen. I know. You just asked about managers that are available at the moment, and that's one person who is available. He doesn't have a job, and going by what he did in the first, I think the first season or thereabout with Barcelona, you could think maybe he has the potential to come. But however, I also understand that it might be difficult for him to thrive in a place like Manchester United, because that team, it will be very difficult for him to control the egos of players like Rashford, to control the egos of players like Anthony, control the likes of
hold on,
Onana, what have you.
Hold on here, Blessing. How can he be difficult for him to control the ego of Rashford? What is Rashford? Who is Rashford to Xavi? Xavi, a World Cup winner, European winner, a Champions League winner, a coach who won the league, and you say Rashford will not listen to him if he speaks to Rashford or obey him in the dressing room?
Manchester United, before they can maybe attain a greater heights the more. We know they pamper lots of players. You know, after maybe 4 months of excellence, they offer these players that's contracts that are not even supposed to be, or they are not supposed to think of at that point in time. Look at Rashford. Since he came into limelight in the year 2000 and let's say 2016, since he came into the limelight, what has been Rashford's main contribution to Manchester United driving forward after how many years? Let's say 8 years. What has he done for Manchester United that you can make or look at him like, oh, Rashford really went through this. He brought this for us. Look at other players also. And I see a certain man who they actually try to throw the stones at. That's what Harry Maguire stripped off of the captaincy and bad and all of that. Bruno Fernandes, he is far from his best at this point in time. Lots of players like that, academy products, they are not doing so well. And just like I said, Manchester United, maybe it is too big of a football club for all of these players. And Blessing made mention of Xavi Hernandez. Well, I know Xavi Hernandez as a player. He achieved so much with Barcelona. He has coached Barcelona. He attained a success in his 2 years that he won the league. And then in the second year, maybe he said he was not doing again. He said he was doing, and then they let him go. They relieved him of his role. But coming to Manchester United, and that's outside Spain, is coming to England. We see football clubs, those football clubs, like we say in England, they are traditional top sides in England. They shouldn't settle for managers that are not top managers. And I think I was having that conversation with you earlier today. Like, how many top managers do we have in Europe top 5 leagues that can actually fight for titles every season? They can, or they've won titles every season. And just one name came to mind. Only Pep Guardiola has.
United cannot get Pep Guardiola now.
United can't get Pep Guardiola, and I'm not sure he would even want to go to that's the other side of Manchester.
It can. It will not. You know, some clubs that he will never coach. Real Madrid and Manchester United. Take that from me. Hey, let's go to our Facebook because I can see 1 or 2 comments there. And they're speaking about the Ballon d'Or, Blessing. Because this news keep coming into my phone, keep coming into my system that Vinicius Jr. will not be winning the award later tonight. It's not official yet, but when you begin to hear this from some kind of sources or source now, and you begin to say to yourself, what's happening here? Because just a week ago, we're here saying that Vinicius Jr. will go win this one. Hey, help me with this, SAMIES.
Well, there is Okedino Babatunde who says, Sir Peter, I would never be surprised at all if Vinicius didn't win it. I predicted that on Ege, that the award is full of different politics, which is at the top level. Let us wait for who they will give this. This is an award without clear-cut marking scheme. Well, there is Agubiade Sheriff saying good afternoon. And also still Okedino, he said the kindly educators why Arsenal's third goal was cancelled.
Right.
And, Asa can... well, I mean, he's talking about Gary Neville. Can he take over at Manchester United, or else talk is cheap? Well, no room for indiscipline in the Arsenal's squad.
All right, so maybe for halftime, we'll see. We don't have the picture or the image in front of us to review that game between Arsenal and Liverpool. The third goal scored by Arsenal that was cancelled. But Anthony Taylor actually blew before that ball went in. So, Blessing, they said it's politics for Ballon d'Or. Because for me, this came like a shock if I came into the studio that Vini would not be winning. Is that a shock to you also? Hello, Blessing. Okay, so let's see if we can get back. If we can get back to Blessing quickly here, but quickly to you, Sammy is okay. Blessing is back with us on the phone. Blessing, we're taking comments from our Facebook page, and someone said the whole thing about Vini not winning is down to politics. Because for me, I was a bit shocked coming in here and finding out that it might not be the winner tonight. Are you also shocked, Blessing?
I mean, it has not been announced. Until that is done, we'll get to find out, because I've been seeing for the past couple of days
You're in the media now. You're in the media, Blessing, you know.
Around Vinicius possibly winning, so.
No, I'm saying you're in the media. When you begin to get this information coming from some verifiable sources, you begin to say to yourself, it might just be it, because I can confirm to you now, coming from Spain, that the Real Madrid entourage said they will not be at Paris tonight. And when you have Vinicius, Jude Bellingham, Florentino Perez all saying they're not going to Paris tonight,
apparently they have seen, somebody has peeked into the final result and have seen that. Well, I think I'll be very, very shocked, because I thought Vinicius, with the Champions League last season, I thought he kind of, really, really cemented himself, and they showed that that's Real Madrid team is. Again, Rodri with when we're talking about the CAF Awards last week on Friday, I talked about it being an AFCON year. It was also an Euro year as well, which saw Rodri, what he did with the Spanish national team. So, I'll be really surprised. I'll be really, really surprised if Vinicius doesn't get it, but I really think he's deserving of that award.
Yeah, when I said from day one, when the nominees, the names came out, I said on said, for me, I know people were saying Vini. I said, Rodri deserves to win, but I understand when it comes to football, we look at the final third, the guys who are scoring the goals are taking the headlines, and Rodri doesn't score the goals, but he scored crucial goals for both Manchester City and for Spain. Hey, Spain were European champion. Rodri didn't play in that final. City didn't win the Champions League. They won the league. And all of this playing out in our minds. Tonight we'll find out who's going to win. Sammy say he has 1 minute talking about the El Clasico. Sammy, what is the El Clasico all about? Because I know it was not too good. Hey, I've been told we have to go now, right? Do we? Are we okay? We've been told to leave the studio. I wish we can have 1 more minute or 1 more seconds or even one hour and talk about football, what happened about the weekend. Olympic Marseille against Paris Saint-Germain, Inter against Juventus. There were some crazy games over the weekend. Liverpool, Arsenal, the El Clasico. Come on, so much.
Just Manchester United coming on board to maybe just sweep us.
Yeah, sweep us with the 𝐒𝐿 thing. So we have to go. Blessing, thanks a lot for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll do this again some other time. Thank you, SAMIES. And we're done for this afternoon. We're back 7:45 on Tuesday morning for Scoreboard in 15. I am Peter Omo.